Arizona Wildcats and the Texas Tech Red Raiders. It is going to be a whiteout at the stadium. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by Glenn Howell, U of A football class of 1985. And Glenn, this is the real test as we go into Pac-12 conference play. A team in Texas Tech that is coming in here with a 2-0 record, and a team that we know with the air raid style offense can move the football. But I think I'm going to start out with what impressed me most is this team's defense. They play defense the way that I would like to see U of A play defense.
Yeah, they attack, and they take risks, which I really like that they do, and we have to be prepared for that. And I think if they take a lot of risks, that could be an opportunity for Khalil Tate to really break one.
I want to show one play here, Glenn, that they had here in the third quarter of their game against last week against UTEP here. They've got 4 receivers in this set, Glenn. They're showing 7 here at the line of scrimmage, and they send all 7 guys putting their defensive backs on a corner. That's what you're talking about when you say aggressiveness in attacking the other team's offense.
That's aggressiveness, but also there's a risk to that aggressiveness. That's when you have Khalil Tate. It's got to be that factor. And if he sees that and he sees a lane, those guys he's gone. He's gone. So we need to be able to identify what's going on, how he's going to see the defense, and then adjust.
Yeah, this is one of those games, Glenn, where we're going to kind of learn where Khalil has come as a quarterback, because he's going to have to really identify what they're doing up front. I saw a lot of situations where they showed 5, they rushed 5. They showed 5, they rushed 4 and dropped 1. They showed 5, they rushed 3 and dropped 2 into coverage. So he's really going to have to identify what's happening with this Texas Tech defense.
And we talked about it last week, Dave, assignment and alignment. That goes for offense too, assignment and alignment. Know the assignments of our receivers when they get the guys coming up, hot reads, all those things got to be identified by Khalil. If we don't run the ball today, it's going to be a long night, people. And this is a barometer of how our offensive line is going to be doing this year. Because this defensive front that they have, they attack, and it's going to be a real tester for our offensive line.
Yeah, it's like rats to cheese to watch them really chase after the football. All right, you mentioned assignment and alignment. I want to flip that over to the other side of the ball and U of A's defense. This is going to be a quick passing attack. At times, I mean, they do a lot of things with it. They're going to try to run the football with this attack. They're going to try to take some deep shots down the field and either throw some 50-50 balls and allow their receivers to make plays and or try to induce you into penalties down the field. I think just watching U of A's defense these first 2 games, I think what they've got to do in this instance is they've got to take that inside pass, that slant route away, because that's the money here for Texas Tech. They want to throw that quick slant route. I think when you talk about assignment and alignment, I think you've got to align yourselves inside on those receivers, the outside receivers, to try to force them out of those inside routes and make them make plays towards the boundary.
Well, the first thing about that offense is their offensive coordinator wants them to have the defense tap out. They want to go very fast. So they're going to take advantage of that assignment and alignment. They got T.J. Vassar, 6'6", 215 pounds. They're going to throw the ball up to him. And then they're going to come back, and then they're going to go to him again. Then they have a tight end that works in there. They have everything that we want to be able to see in our offense as they run that fast-paced offense. We have to be able to stop that, but I think we need to go man-to-man and take some risks.
Yeah, and then you talk about the speedy kid, Dalton Rigdon, on the outside. They're going to try to hit him with bubble screens. They're a very good receiving blocking team as well.
We can't be like we were against Hawaii and even last week a little bit on our tackling. Tackling has to be essentially good. It has to be really good because these kids break one. All they're looking for is one missed tackle and they're gone.
Yeah, bad technique will get you killed in a game like this, Glenn. And smart and bad and stupid play is going to get you killed. You cannot have the penalties the personal fouls that we had last week, and like you mentioned, the bad technique. And I still saw a little bit of that from Scotty Young in last week's game. There was one play in particular in that second half where he just made a half-hearted play on a ball in the middle of the field, and the receiver turned, made him miss, and now now you're 30 yards down the field with a big game. You have got to be technically sound going to the football.
We have to be mentally aware in this game because this game's going to be a lot faster than the previous 2 games. You understand that? It's going to be fast. These guys are fast. These are Texas guys, and I don't care what conference they're from, but you look at their roster, they have quickness and they have size everywhere. So we have to be able to be prepared, and the mental mistakes will kill us.
Yeah, and they've also got a pretty decent, I mean, when you talk about games like this, could come down to special teams. Yeah. I was impressed with their kicker in this ball game. This is a game where that could come into play. The Wildcats haven't had a chance to really put, their kicker out there much this year, except for the first game there, and he showed that he could make and put into that pressure situation with all the penalties. I thought that was a good test for him to potentially what you might face in a ball game like this.
Well, I'll tell you what, the first time in, 8 years, I feel pretty comfortable with our kicker. Our kicker is pretty good, so I'm really comfortable with that. So if we come down to that, I think our kicker is going to be able to come through. So we have to be good on special teams. Their punt return, these guys return the kick. They'll return it. They'll be there, and we have to be sound in our lanes and do everything correctly.
This is the first year when you talk about special teams in the return game aspect, Glenn, that I think we've got some guys back there potentially that could break it. I mean, Brian Castile had the great punt return last week in that ball game. I've said before, I'd love to see them maybe eventually move Tavion Cunningham into that role. He had 6 kick return touchdowns in junior college and allow him an opportunity to really use that speed. You talk about speed in the open field. What better chance to do that than on a kickoff?
Yeah, you look at our situation right now. We're 1-1. We need to be 2-1. Okay, we were thinking we're 3-0. Let's open up the playbook. Let's get this done. We got to get a win today. I think it's essential for this program going into the Pac-12 conference. We have to be able to, if we get a convincing win here, which is really, I think, is unlikely. I think that we're going to struggle because of the way we've been playing. Hope we can turn this around. But if we get a win, we'll be ready for the Pac-12 conference.
All right, it is Arizona and Texas Tech. We'll be back to break it down for you on Monday morning.